Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. GPI Studios' The Bold and the Beautiful's Don Diamont's post blended humor and admiration, leaving fans both touched and motivated. On The Bold and the Beautiful, Bill has been tied up in the messy fallout of Luna's scheme. He's not happy that she's now pregnant after taking advantage of and tricking Will when he was drunk. He even contemplated killing her, although Katie seems to have temporarily gotten him to restrain himself. In the real world, Don Diamont stepped away from the drama to highlight a real-life story of grit and perseverance, and his social media post quickly captured fans' hearts. On Instagram, Diamont wrote, "Just had a great walk with this at Workout Wednesday warrior. His name is Ralph. He's 98, that's 98, he walks every day. Ralph is my next-door neighbor and hero. I walk with him as often as I can. Believe me when I tell you that he has had his challenges. But the guy just keeps on coming. Last year, he broke his leg badly. That should have done him in, but no, hospital, rehab, assisted living, home." He continued praising his neighbor, walks every day, the toughest guy I know, and sharp as a tack. He is a marvel. So when you're sitting around whining about not feeling like working out, think of Ralphie. The very definition of doing a little something is better than doing a lot of nothing. Diamond included a pic of him and Ralph, who stood tall in a light blue UCLA basketball shirt, matching sweatpants, and a cap, cane in hand, but smiling brightly as the actor proudly points to him at his side. Fans poured into the comments, with one writing, "Amazing. And that's so great, you walk with him, Donald." Another said, "What an inspiration, Ralph. Being a nurse, I love these stories to share with patients. You go, Ralph." One viewer cheered, "Good for him, go Ralph," while someone else gushed, I love Ralph." Others called him a rock star and the coolest, with one adding, "Such an inspiration Ralph is." "I couldn't agree more with you, Don. I know next time I say I can't do that exercise or walk, I will think of Ralph." Another praised, "God bless you, Ralph. You have the best neighbor and friend." One of the most moving replies came from a fan battling stage 4 bone cancer, who said, "As hard as it is, I will walk. Thanks for posting such an amazing story." And another kept it simple and sweet. "Is he single? Good for him." Don Diamont's tribute to neighbor Ralph wins over in the world of daytime television, where stars become fixtures in living rooms across America and their on-screen personas are dissected endlessly by devoted fans. It is often easy to forget that behind the glamour, behind the perfectly lit studio sets and the larger-than-life storylines, there are men and women whose lives are built upon the same small, intimate connections that hold communities together, and it is in moments of genuine humanity that the line between celebrity and neighbor fades into something universal. Don Diamont, beloved star of The Bold and the Beautiful and a daytime television veteran whose career has spanned decades, reminded audiences and communities alike of that truth when he stepped forward to pay tribute to his neighbor Ralph, a man not known to the world of soap operas, not splashed across magazine covers, but known to those who lived nearby as a cornerstone of kindness, strength, and community spirit. The story of Don's tribute has quickly won over not only fans of the actor, but countless readers who see in his words the reflection of their own cherished relationships, their own neighborhood heroes whose names might not make headlines, but whose impact shapes lives in quiet, immeasurable ways. When Don Diamont speaks, there is an unmistakable sincerity that comes from years of navigating not just scripts but real-life trials and triumphs. And in his tribute to Ralph, he painted a portrait of friendship that was less about celebrity and more about gratitude. He spoke of Ralph as a man who never failed to offer a smile, a hand, or a word of encouragement, someone who showed up in both ordinary and extraordinary moments, the kind of neighbor who makes life richer simply by being present. For fans accustomed to seeing Diamont portray the sharp, ambitious, and sometimes ruthless Bill Spencer on The Bold and the Beautiful, it was a striking reminder that the actor behind the role is deeply grounded in values of loyalty, compassion, and respect. His words carried weight because they were not crafted for a scene, but born out of genuine affection and admiration. Ralph, according to Don, embodied the spirit of resilience and warmth that turns a neighborhood into a family, and his tribute detailed stories of shared laughter, quiet conversations over fences and lawns, and moments of support that arrived unannounced, but always exactly when needed. As his tribute spread across social media and fan forums, it was clear that viewers were moved not only by the content of his words, but by the authenticity with which they were delivered. Tributes from soap stars are not uncommon, but rarely do they carry such a universal resonance, reminding everyone that behind the bright lights of Hollywood are communities held together by men like Ralph, and by neighbors who recognize the significance of honoring them. What makes this moment especially powerful is the way it reframes the narrative of celebrity culture. Instead of centering himself, Don used his platform to highlight someone whose impact may never have been acknowledged beyond the confines of his neighborhood, and in doing so he shifted the spotlight to the kind of everyday heroism that defines real life. Fans responded with their own stories, filling comment sections with memories of parents, grandparents, friends, and neighbors who mirrored Ralph's qualities, creating a chorus of gratitude that transformed one tribute into a communal celebration of unsung heroes everywhere. The ripple effect of Don's words reached beyond the fan base of The Bold and the Beautiful, drawing in those who may never have seen an episode, but who recognized in Ralph a reflection of people they loved. Journalists picked up the story not simply as entertainment news, but as human interest, showcasing how television stars can bridge worlds by speaking about the people who anchor them in reality. In interviews, Don expressed that his motivation was simple: Ralph mattered, and he wanted to ensure that his memory lived beyond the borders of their street. He spoke of how Ralph's generosity had shaped his family's sense of belonging, how his children had learned from Ralph's example, and how his absence would be deeply felt not only in small daily routines, but in the larger spirit of community. It is rare in this industry to see such an outpouring of raw, personal reflection that resonates so broadly, but Don's tribute proved that authenticity can be more compelling than any scripted storyline. The story unfolded further as castmates from The Bold and the Beautiful chimed in with words of support, praising Don for sharing his heart, and expressing that Ralph's story reminded them of their own connections outside the industry. Catherine Kelly Lang, Jacqueline McSinswood, and other co-stars reacted publicly, emphasizing how touched they were by Don's words and how inspired they felt to cherish their own circles more deeply. This collective response turned a personal tribute into a cultural moment, a reminder that even in the fast-paced world of Hollywood, the most enduring legacies are often the simplest. For decades, Don Diamont has built a career on commanding presence, charisma, and the ability to bring dramatic storylines to life. But in honoring Ralph, he showed a different kind of strength: vulnerability, gratitude, and a willingness to lift up someone else's story. Fans have often admired Don's resilience in his personal life. Whether navigating the losses he has faced, the challenges of balancing career and family, or the demands of being a recognizable figure in an industry that can consume identities. But it is in moments like these that admiration turns into something deeper, into respect for the man rather than just the actor. What makes Don's tribute stand out in the annals of celebrity acknowledgments is the intimacy with which he described Ralph's impact. He spoke of shared barbecues, neighborhood projects, and the small but significant kindnesses that defined Ralph's presence. These were not grand tales of heroism, but testimonies to consistency, the kind of consistency that defines trust and builds bonds that withstand time. In many ways, Ralph became a symbol not only of neighborly devotion, but of the everyday heroes who quietly make life livable, who are often overlooked until their absence is felt like an ache. The bold and the beautiful community embraced this tribute as more than just a heartfelt post. They saw it as a storyline in its own right, a narrative of real life that paralleled the fictional tales they watch every day. Viewers began drawing comparisons between Ralph and the moral anchors of the soap's own storylines.